Call Jeff now at 503-589-1220. That's 503-589-1220. Let's return now to more of Political Coffee with Jeff Kropf.
24 minutes to the top of the hour. Great to have you back for a little politics with your coffee friends, because it's important that you have the ammunition to be able to persuade the persuadables. This whole business about the Ukraine and the president and impeachment is an absurdity beyond description. And in a moment, we're going to chat with my friend Scott Rohter, who wrote about the Ukraine and Biden and Obama 5 years ago. And it's relevant to today. But imagine that. Also imagine not having enough life insurance for your family if something happens to you. It's not a very pleasant thing to think about. Look, nobody wants to think about death, especially untimely death, but it's a reality. It happens. It happens every day in this country. Would your family have enough money to be able to maybe stay in their house, to provide college opportunities for your kids, just to have any meaningful life moving forward if you weren't there and your paycheck wasn't there? Well, my friend Fred Thompson, who's a powerful patriot, fought for this country in combat in Vietnam, is an honorable man, shares your principles and your values. He's a New York life agent. He can help you answer that question. And by the way, it's never too late. Never too late to have enough life insurance. If you're just not sure you have enough for your family, why don't you call him? 503-428-7479. 503-428-7479. Well, I want to welcome back to the show my friend Scott Rohter. He's a political activist. He's an author. He's a thinker. He's a passionate grassroots kind of guy, former Oregon Senate candidate. Scott, good morning. How are you?
Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Fantastic. Folks, Scott's website, by the way, is lessgovisthebestgov.com. Lessgovisthebestgov.com. Wow, Scott, you wrote something 5 years ago that's absolutely right on the money for today with this Ukraine, Trump, impeachment, Biden business. Why don't you describe the outline of your article and where people can find it, by the way?
Well, they can find it on the website blog. There's a blog to the website called lessgovisthebestgov.com/blog. 5 years ago, before anybody knew Donald Trump was going to run for president or we knew anything about what it has gone on there, I just thought it was very curious that the vice president at the time, Joe Biden, was always over in Ukraine. Not only was he over there, but John McCain was over there, and other people were over there, Victoria Nuland. And I just thought it was peculiar. It was very curious. 6 years later, almost, 6 years, almost, it's all coming out now what was going on there. And what was going on there was our government was pushing a revolution in that country, and it was deemed necessary to promote this turmoil, and in order to in order to promote American oil companies' attempts to sell our surplus oil and natural gas to Europe. At the time, the major pipeline to supply Europe with its natural gas ran right through Ukraine. That was Russia's Gazprom pipeline. And we had just undergone a fracking revolution, and we had abundant surpluses of oil and natural gas that would have ultimately caused the price of oil and gas to substantially come down if other markets for our surpluses weren't found. We were busy fomenting or providing the political fuel for a revolution in Ukraine in order to sell our fossil fuel to Europe. And in the process, enriching the pockets of key players in the Obama administration, i.e. Joe Biden and his son Hunter, and John Kerry and his stepson, and Nancy Pelosi, his own son, Paul.
Okay, so what you're saying is that this is all about energy, and this has been going on a very long time in terms of not just Trump, but years ago with Obama Biden, which we're talking all about all these renewable resources at home, but yet it be very quietly, very corruptly, as we're finding out about Joe Biden. He's in Ukraine and he's there constantly trying to advance the cause of not Russia selling natural gas and oil to Europe, as they do, but rather opening the door for America to do that. Why is that bad? Why is it bad, though, Scott, for America to sell its resources to the Eastern or to Europe as opposed to Russia?
Well, of course, it's not bad. But to foment a political revolution in a foreign country in order to do that, that is bad.
Yeah,
now,
agreed.
It's not bad for us to try to compete fairly with the Russians. I'm an American, so I'd like to see us compete. However, when you foment a revolution in order to achieve your goal, a political revolution in order to achieve your goal, that's not fair. Now, meanwhile, while we were doing this, the Russians aren't stupid, so they saw what was happening with Ukraine, that it was being meddled in, shall we say, and they were busy working out contractual and financial agreements with Germany to build a new pipeline, which bypassed Ukraine completely, which was being laid under the Baltic Sea and is scheduled for completion, probably already has been completed in in the fall of 2019. Germany is their partner in building this Nord Stream 2 pipeline because Russia saw what we were trying to do, make inroads or advances into their supply network. And that's totally fair. They didn't foment the revolution in Ukraine. What they did was respond to our meddling. But all this has to do with the sale of oil and gas. And
fair enough. All right. So, folks, we're talking with Scott Rohter in a article he wrote on his blog. The blog is lessgovisthebestgov.com. Lessgovisthebestgov.com. And it's called Lies, More Lives, and Continued Political Double Talk About Ukraine. So fair enough, Scott. I mean, your point in writing this is that Biden and Obama had a program, which we're learning more about today, of providing, this political revolution, and you wrote about this in 2014, of providing the means for that to happen, and that Russia was just responding to that. And it was all about selling oil and gas. You're not against selling American oil and gas to Europe. What you're saying is that it is wrong to foment political revolution as much as it is for the Russians.
In order to achieve commercial gains.
Right,
certainly.
In order to achieve commercial.
And Germany, obviously, by their partnership with Russia, I mean, they're the major financer of Nord Stream 2. Germany obviously had already made up its mind who they were going to buy gas from. I mean, look, Russia is, virtually next door to Germany. If you get if you don't consider the Baltic countries of Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, Russia's pretty much right next door. I mean, Kaliningrad is virtually next door.
So,
you got Poland is there too, but our gas has to come by boat, by tanker, from America to Germany. There's just no sense in that. And that's the way the Germans felt. And so they had already made up their mind who was going to continue to supply them. And Russia saw that Ukraine was becoming problematic to their network, as it was the government in Kiev was being supported and funded by America and was going to do our bidding. So they were busy building their own new pipeline. What the problem is that while all this was happening, certain key American players were enriching themselves at the expense of Russian-American relations, which is important in the world. It is important that our two countries get along.
Well, but Scott, it's deeper than that. It's this corruption that we're learning about with Joe Biden and his son.
Absolutely.
It's all about buying things off. Yeah, oil and gas is the basis of this, but we're finding out that it is deeper than that. It's absolute corruption on the part of American politicians who've so far gotten away with it. So let me ask you this, because we got like a minute left, Scott. How do you think this plays out with Donald Trump?
Well, Jeff, the media is so corrupt in our country. It's largely controlled by a few selected New York liberals who are all Democrats. And they're manipulating public opinion with, I heard today, or it was yesterday now, they were pushing a phony poll. They didn't even name the source of the poll, but the poll indicates that 51% of Americans favor the impeachment and conviction, mind you, of Donald Trump. I don't know how we get the truth out here, but to go on programs like yours and push the truth about the corruption. Why shouldn't Joe Biden be investigated? They're investigating Donald Trump for nothing. And if that doesn't interfere with an election, I don't know what does. Why should Joe Biden be exempt from an investigation? Because he's running for president.
Scott, excellent way to end our interview. That is the real crux of it all. Wine confidence. Liberty, friends, transparency. Scott Rohter, less gov is the best gov.com. Back in a moment.